This is the rectifier installed in Singapore. It's more than 30 years. It's a manual tap control type. Surface finish still looks very, very good. Another rectifier in Vietnam, which I've seen more than 20 years, still working in good condition, and the surface finish is also very excellent. One more rectifier in Vietnam. If you see the arrow on the right side, this was the rectifier supplied by one of the Indian company which never works. So they have to install a new replacement. A rectifier I have taken good. Now this is the rectifier installed in India. The finish looks as if it is really very new. The wiring is very, very complicated, all full of electronics. Too difficult for any technician to troubleshoot on site. Now another issue for the transformer rectifier coating painting. Almost new rectifier. See, the entire coating is worn out. It looks very shabby. Another rectifier installed in India. Bad API protection. Doors were not properly locked. So this result is the entire dust is settled inside, damaging the components. The TRUs in India are very sophisticated in terms of design and construction to the extent of being over-designed. The design involves sophisticated electronic circuitry. The electronic cards used in the TRUs are difficult to repair. It also enhances the dependence of owner-operator on OEMs. Alternatively, more robust and easy to repair designs are available. Now, this is one of the schematic for the electronic control rectifier. As you can see, it's too much wiring for any technician to attend on site. And almost impossible to troubleshoot, verify the wiring at site. This is not really desirable. Generally, the manufacturer do not keep a robust maintenance team. There aren't many service personnel available for breakdown service. Therefore, it usually takes a long time, few weeks to months, for the service engineer to come to remote sites. The CP system is already under shutdown. In this intervening period, the corrosion activity starts in this time, and the entire purpose of having invested the time, effort, and money in setting up an effective CP system is wasted. In a nutshell, the challenges faced by the maintenance engineer can be summarized as: most TRUs in India are based on electronic control, difficult to read the electronic circuits due to absence of component level schematics of thyristor cards and other associated circuits. Long wait for technician from OEM causing extended CP breakdown and increasing the corrosion activity. In the present day designs, due to extensive use of electronics, if a TR experiences a breakdown, the OEM technician has to be called. If you look at the past evolution of the TRs in India, the practice about 25 years ago was simple manual design. Surprisingly, they are still in operation without any problems. It was like the Fiats and Ambassador's car of old days, which were very easy to repair. Any roadside mechanic could repair these cars. Likewise, the simple, reliable, and efficient TRUs of the past were easy to operate and maintenance. I would like to add here that I'm not trying to discourage any latest advanced designs based on electronics or microcontrollers, but the technology has to be used where it is really needed. Look at this manual rectifier, olden design. The entire wiring is very straightforward, easy to understand and troubleshoot. In a nutshell, the challenges faced by the maintenance engineer can be summarized as most TRUs in India are based on electronic controls and not repairable. Difficult to read electronic circuits due to absence of component level schematics of thyristor cards and other associated electronic circuits. Long wait for technician from OEM, causing extended CP breakdown and increasing the corrosion activity. My recommendations for the TRU specification in India include the following. First of all, the surface treatment. This has to be of highest quality. This includes well-attended surface treatment, coating, painting of the cabinets. Better clamping of doors, at least IP56 to be maintained. To consider use of manual tap TRUs. Minimum electronics that could otherwise affect the working of TR due to malfunctioning of the electronic circuits. In case if thyristor control TRU is necessary, make sure the clear schematics are available to assist in repairing.
So sorry to interfere. Your video is not visible. Now it is visible. Thank you.
Okay, this is one of the electronic schematic. Normally, OEMs don't provide. The red circles identify the test point where a manufacturer recommends what to test, what to expect on the particular test point. This is very standard electronic circuit, normally provided by European and American manufacturers. Unfortunately, none of the TR manufacturer in India provides such type of circuits. TRU operating manuals must describe the straightforward repair and troubleshooting the procedures for all the electronics with part numbers. We never receive this from the manufacturer in India. Provide calculation and selection of TRU ratings to ensure it is operating more efficiently, results in saving the excessive consumption of energy. So I would like to hear, normally we use rectifiers on site ratings to 50 amps, 70 amps, whereas actual requirement of the current might be just 5 or 10 amps. This is due to the latest coating we have on the pipeline. In India, TR specifications are well developed, but in the real sense, it appears that no proper attention to the quality of TR cabinet surface treatment, painting, and clamping of doors are given. There is a strong need to implement effective QA/QC. Make sure thyristor and other electronic cards, clear schematics are provided along with the circuit description. This is one of the critical items missing from the TR manual. The client's operation team is without doubt highly qualified to test and repair the electronic circuits and bring the TR up and running in no time. All they need is the right information on the troubleshooting manuals. From the foregoing, we can summarize the following. Use of manually controlled transformer rectifier units, proper fabrication and surface treatment of coating painting, IP56 rating recommended, proper clamping to the door, enhancing the ingress protection, make vendor responsible to troubleshoot and repair the supply TRs for at least 5 years. This is a bit challenging. I don't know how we are going to handle it. So that's it for now, and I welcome questions from the audience.
Well, that was a very crisp, short discussion on healthy TRUs. I request everyone, if you have any questions, this is the time when you can put in your questions. And for all of those people, all right. So we do have a question on the chat box. It's Mr. Pandey. Why don't you just unmute and ask the question? So it's about TLP and Mr. Pandey, if you can clarify on that question, please.
TLP. It is test.
Yes.
It is a test point, not related to rectifier, but I will still welcome the opportunity. Please discuss about that. Volume. Any problem or issues with the TLP?
Mr. Avinash Pandey, if you are there, I request you to kindly unmute and ask your question. I believe, I'm not sure, Mr. Pandey is probably not able to unmute. Do you need clarification on that question, sir? Because we have got another question from Mr. Mukesh Kumar. Mr. Mukesh Kumar, could you please just unmute and ask your question?
Sir, actually, I want to know that in India, we are seeing that we generally use auto reference, auto potential rectifiers. Just of my experience, I think we have not to use the electronic cards rectifier. Am I right or not?
Actually, for the soil applications, in my opinion and experience, we really do not require auto potential rectifiers for the soil application. For the water application, that is something different, like tanks, internals, or offshore. Okay, as I have already said, we do have serious issue on the repair on the electronics. That is the problem we are facing here. Right now, I have 5 inquiries from various vendors to replace the cards or repair the cards and make it active. Okay, for any soil application, it is really not necessarily required to go with auto TRU. If we have to go with the auto TRU, obviously we are going all the way back to electronic design circuit. In that we already have difficulties, or we may probably come up with very, very strong recommendations that in case if we are receiving the electronic control rectifier, then following information has to be provided, like the complete schematic detail with the part numbers clearly identified in the maintenance manual, so that technicians can at least troubleshoot or identify the problem and discuss with the manufacturer to supply the parts, or technician can go to the electronic shop and buy the parts. It's very easy to troubleshoot the parts provided we give the proper information to the technicians.
Sure, sir. One question more. Actually, in India, I have seen over the time, everybody is asking for the auto potential rectifier. Actually, as per my opinion, I have to recommend we have to use the manual tap rectifier. But in the tenders, so many things like Gale client and EIL, Macon, so many consultant we have seen. Everybody is trying to copy and paste the auto potential rectifier specifications. How can we go out from this trending circuits like electronic control cards?
See, everybody is asking all our major customers are asking thyristor control or auto potential control rectifiers because the specifications are already provided to them.
Yes.
And it's nice to hear auto control, thyristor control, latest technology. These are the words, looks very nice to hear to the ears, but at the field, we know the difficulties, how technicians are struggling to get the rectifier up and running. And sometimes rectifiers are not attended even for several months, which is definitely not a desirable thing. That is the reason most of the Middle East countries and Asia Pacific, they all goes with the manual circuits. Manual rectifiers are very easy to repair. We really don't need auto rectifier because the soil chemistry is fixed. Requirement is all fixed. There will not be any variation to go with the auto control.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. We have Mr. Pandey is still having audio issues in connecting, so he's unable to ask his TLP question. We have Mr. Gajanan who wants to ask you a question, sir. Mr. Gajanan, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Gajanan here. Can you hear me, madam?
Sir, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes,
my
Mr.
question
Gajanan.
is, yeah, my question is, there are all rectifiers having a reference and selection, and that is only a lowest reference selection. Why not highest reference selection?
Can you please repeat once again about the reference electrode selection?
There all rectifiers having a 3 reference cell, and automatically in auto mode it selects the lowest reference cell.
Yeah, I got
My
it.
question is,
No, is this for
my
soil?
question is, why not highest one?
No, is this for soil application or water application?
It's a soil application.
Okay, for the soil application, normally the pipeline potential is already fully saturated and stable. So there won't be any much difference. Okay, so if we have to really see what is happening at the different reference electrodes, we can separate this reference electrode circuit from the rectifier which is operating under manual. So we'll have a small panel showing the performance of the reference electrodes. Accordingly, we can adjust it on site. But in principle, there will not be any issue with any of the reference electrode.
Because what happens, if you select the lowest reference, your current will be high, and if you select the highest reference, your current will be very low. So we will, as per my knowledge, we have to go for low current. So we have to select the highest references, highest potential references.
Yeah, that is the issue normally happens. Like hunting of the reference electrode, we got the high reference electrode, high potential input, suddenly rectify tries to lower the output to absolute minimum. Then it picks up the lowest, it goes high. So rectifier is always playing up and down, up and down. So this can be avoided. And of course, if customer feels it is really very, very important for him to make sure all reference electrodes are properly maintained, then we have to revise the specification to modify the electronic circuit and ask them to furnish component level drawings in the manual and the troubleshooting procedures. Right now, nobody offers the troubleshooting procedures of electronics in India. That's the difficulty with us here.
Because all rectifiers now manufacturers, all they are designed by default. They are lower reference selection is there in all rectifiers manufactured. They are manufactured. They all are coming with selection with lowest reference cell selection.
Yeah, that is the problem. When it picks up the lowest reference electrode, now to match the lowest electrode desirable potential, the other electrodes try to give the high potential. Then again, there will be always hunting between the reference electrodes, and TR will be always giving the output of low, high, like it's like hunting of the rectifiers.
Yeah. Also, there is again one problem. If another two referentials are good and one referential is some faulty, then because the selection already by default is lowest reference, so the rectifier will not work.
No, when there is a reference giving less than the expected lowest potential, by default, the electronics will discard that electrode. It will not send that potential. Example, reference electrode under normal case, even if it is low, under normal case, it should not be lower than 250 or 300 millivolts. If for whatever reason, due to damage of the electrode or any mislocation, the reference electrode might be giving about 150, for example. In this case, we know under any case, the reference electrode will never give 150 millivolt, and electronics are programmed to ignore reading that potential. So reference electrode number 1 will be identified as failed reference electrode. This is normal electronic setting on either controller or the comparator circuit.
Yeah, this facility need to be built in rectifier.
Yeah, so whatever the influence due to welding or physical damages, or somebody excavated the area and mislocate the reference electrode, instead of close to the pipeline, it may be installed elsewhere. So the electronic circuit for the reference electrodes takes care for such scenario.
Yeah, need to be implemented that circuit in the TR unit.
It should be. I have seen a couple of designers electronic cars, and they were very well designed.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
We are also getting a couple of more questions, sir. Shabir sir, the first question, another question was from Mr. Lakshman Sarode. And Mr. Sarode, please unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, Shabir sir. This is Lakshman Sarode from Adani Power, Ahmedabad.
Very good evening, Mr. Lakshman. I think
we have met.
Yeah, we have met, and probably we have communicated recently as well.
Yeah.
And before you ask me question or before you start, I would like to thank Adani that they have already implemented using all the manual rectifiers.
Yeah.
So
and that is up with a high capacity. I can say we have gone up to 120 volt.
Yeah.
60 ampere, 80 ampere, 120 volt. Anyway, actually, another plant located at Udupi, which is the having some 4 to 5 months very heavy raining. In that, for soil as well as water application, whether this IP65 degree of protection for this transformer rectifier is suitable for a long term?
If it is properly designed, any rectifier will give you service, even if the humidity is 100% or the temperature exceeds 60 degrees. I have seen many rectifiers operating very good, of course, manual rectifiers in Kuwait, where the temperature exceeds 65 degrees is something unbelievable, and the rectifiers are working very normal. But I don't know if thyristor control or electronic rectifiers can survive such a high temperature. I have never seen that.
I am not talking, this is for not manual, this is for auto potential. That is thyroid based. So
yeah,
in that case, whether it will, and most of the time, humidity is around 90 to 95% in our area in that season. So in this season, this getting IP65 is also getting difficult, but somehow we have talked with many vendors and they said, okay, it is possible.
No, should not be any problem with the rectifier if there is a heavy welding or some construction activities going on surrounding. So once the construction activities or welding stops, the rectifier starts operating very normal. So it should not be a problem. But what I have seen nowadays that Adani has revise the specifications to manual type. So when I see those specs, I started smiling that something is working very good.
No, that manual we have taken based upon that is for our external corrosion protection, but for other location we have the combination external as well as internal, and for internal we need this auto potential because we have to maintain the certain potential, otherwise it will give the excess means over protection, and to avoid that it is compulsory for this auto potential rectifiers.
Yeah, where we feel that the potential might keep changing due to the changing of the electrolyte level, example, tank internals or seashores. We need to install electronic control rectifiers with the auto potential mechanism. In that scenario, as you can see on the screen, this is the component layout drawing we should expect to be issued from the manufacturer, where he is able to identify the various test point and give the clear indication at the particular test point what is the signal we are expecting. With this information, our technicians will be able to repair the cards. Instead, in the absence of this type of electronic circuit, we have to simply wait with the OEM or talk to the various manufacturers. Then if the manufacturer is different than the original rectifier manufacturer, then he will have the issue of the mechanical fitment. So end of the day, it is the end user who will be suffering waiting for rectifier to see up and running. So at least where we feel that we don't have any option other than going with the electronic control, then this is the type of schematic we should demand from the manufacturer. I know these drawings are actually available with every manufacturer. Without this, nobody can design the cards. They don't share this so that you can call them and they make some extra money on that, which is really not a good idea. But anyway, in America, this type of circuit diagram is mandatory. By law, they have to provide the entire information with all the component numbers and ratings. We should implement something like this here in India.
Sir, actually, I am unable to see your full screen. Can you share me by email this what will be this component drawing so that we just check it when we are going to procure?
What I recommend that whoever has comments even after this presentation, they are welcome to send me the email, and I will be more than happy to reply to them.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Lakshman, I believe you have my email ID. You can send me the email, and I will share these pictures to you.
Yeah, definitely we'll do directly communication.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Lakshman. I had kept Mr. Mohammed Abdul Shoaib waiting. He has a question. Mr. Shoaib, why don't you just unmute and ask your question?
Oh, good evening, sir. It's my pleasure to attend this webinar from you. My question for you is why only about TR units? Why not the solar unit? As you know, in Middle East and some other countries, the unit to be placed in desert areas or remote areas. So there, the input requirement is very difficult to get. So how about the solar unit? Is it really effective? I mean, efficient? Could you please let us know about it?
Yeah, if a well-designed solar unit will definitely give very good service as required. Of course, there will be lot of electronics involved, so we really need to work hard to make sure the solar unit is designed as simple as that. So what our problem is, the CP rectifier manufacturer also try to develop the solar unit within his own rectifier, which is not a good idea. So what I recommend here is buy the solar power unit from the solar manufacturer experts, install our simple rectifier beside the solar unit. This will give a good service.
Thank you, sir.
I hope that question has been answered. Mr. Arun, you have a question.
Yeah, madam.
Yes, please ask your question, sir.
Sir, very good evening, sir. Presentation is, very clear. My question is, no, sir, totally agree with your point. Like, implementing manual TR for, cross countries, vessels, and tanks, those structures, it will be okay, fine. But in terms of, auto TR unit for those structures will be fine. Where we have, plant pipings and, seashore, where you have, different types of electrolytes. Pipeline will be different for each in plant piping and all the pipe diameter, the coating of the pipeline, everything will be changed. So where we cannot able to fix the auto and go further. So what will be the solution for this?
I apologize, I could not catch up your question. If you rephrase your question, it will be better for me. Appreciate that.
Yeah, sir. What I'm trying to say, no, sir, for in plant piping and seashore areas,
Seashore, okay.
where we have to go for manual TR units.
Okay.
Because due to those electrolytes and changing those pipeline types of coatings and all. So what will be futures in terms if you're looking for a future, right? Auto will be correct option. So what in future what will be that?
See, regardless whether it is on seashore or far inside the shore, the rectifier remains same. It depends on how we monitor the CP system. This is more important. We have to also understand that our technicians are not really electronic experts. They will do the normal monitoring. In case of problem, we are all held up. So even if the rectifier has to be installed at the seashore side, it can be installed manually. And as I have already recommended, we can install a separate electronic module to monitor the reference electrodes. In case of any problem with the electronic module of the rectifier of the reference electrode, the rectifier still continue providing the service.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Has your question been answered? I believe it has been answered. We have a question on CGD networking from Mr. Siddharth Rathod. Mr. Rathod, would you please ask your question directly?
Hello, sir. I'm Siddharth Rathod from
Hello.
Gujarat Place. My question is that which TR unit we should buy for upcoming projects, which are low in cost and easy to maintain and made in India.
Yeah, as I have already said, for any new project, if the application is for the soil, whether it is plant or the pipelines, I highly recommend installing manual control rectifiers, which are very easy to repair and maintain. In fact, this has already started happening. As Mr. Lakshman Saror has said, they have partially replaced the specifications with the manual control rectifiers. There are also 3-4 clients who are now asking only for the manual. So things might change with time.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
All right. We also have one question from Mr. Sagar Vyas. Mr. Sagar Vyas, if you can hear me, kindly unmute and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Mr. Hussain, can you hear us? Because we cannot see you. I believe there is a little glitch. But yes, Mr. Vyas, sorry, could you please ask your question?
Sir, during TR unit monitoring, we are facing issue during piling work near a pipeline area. During this period, a TR unit voltage decreased suddenly, and a TR unit show alarm under protection of pipeline. So What is the reason behind this?
If the voltage is showing too low and
Yes, sir.
the potential is still unacceptable, so I suspect there must be some short around. In that case, the voltage might read only 1, 2, 3 volts, something like this.
Sir, in the normal condition, voltage will be a 1.2 something, but while piling work near a pipeline area, only this time TR unit voltage we may vary.
We need to do some sort of investigations to see where exactly the problem. I am sure this is not something related to rectifier. It must be a CP circuit which is troubling you.
Mr. Vyas, we just lost you. Mr. Vyas, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Has your question been answered?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Pandey, we come back to you. If you can unmute and ask your question, we can still take the question if that is a possibility for you, Mr. Avinash Pandey. All right. One more question in the meantime, Mr. Mukesh Kumar. Mr. Kumar, please unmute and ask your question. Mr. Mukesh Kumar.
Yeah. Am I audible to you? Okay.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
my question is, I will ask with an example. For the pipeline of 50 kilometer, we are using two numbers of rectifier. In general case, we have seen. If we will use 50 volt and 50 ampere for the 50 kilometer of two number of rectifier, okay, then just I want to ask that can we use 5 number of rectifier in the distance of 10 kilometer with the rating of 10 volt and 10 ampere?
What is the diameter of your pipeline?
64 inch.
54-inch pipeline diameter of about 50 kilometer?
Yes.
Okay, so practically the current should not exceed more than 10 amps if the pipeline is well designed. Thereafter, it all depends. And what is the rectifier output you have installed?
In general, I have seen we have used a 50 volt, 50 ampere.
50 volt, 50 amps, two rectifiers.
Yes.
Okay, that is more than enough actually. Even one rectifier is enough.
Actually, I want to ask that why we use the high current rectifier in the long distance? Can we use a low rating rectifier in the short distance?
No, even one rectifier of about 10 amps should satisfy your requirement.
Oh, no. Actually, my question is this. So many clients are using one rectifier for the long distance, like a 50 kilometer, 25 kilometer, 45 kilometer, for example. But I want to recommend them, they have to use small rectifiers with the shortest distance. They have not to be used in the 50 kilometer and 45 kilometer. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a good idea is to actually install lower capacity rectifier at multiple locations. Just in case if one rectifier is failed, you still have rectifiers operating and giving you the required service.
Yes, I also recommend to everybody to be happy use a small rating rectifier in the distance of short, like 10 kilometer and 5 kilometer, with a manual tapping rectifiers. But in India, I have seen nobody is accepting like that.
Yeah, that is our problem. The specifications are all developed based on the electronic controls and nobody want to change. So here we have a challenge and the decision takers has to really involved and see the real problems and modify the specs. Modification of the specifications cannot happen at the lower level. It has to go with the management system.
Sir, actually, sir, I have designed too many rectifiers in the lower rating. They have tried to use that for the temporary basis, but I recommend them to they have to use it for the permanent basis.
Yeah.
But nobody is accepting that. They are expecting from us we have to manufacture from the previous design like auto reference, auto manual, or CBCC. Too many modes are also.
No, what exactly is needed instead of going yes or no or be adamant on the system, we need to ask questions ourselves. What exactly is the requirement? What do we need? What are the maintenance challenges we have? How we can maintain the system? On those points, we should be able to figure out. If we start talking on the document of the system already installed, then we'll not be able to achieve the required goals.
Actually, our challenge is we have already tried to recommend all the client or consultant to replace all the high rating auto potential rectifier with the new one shortage distance small rate capacity rectifiers with the manual tapping. But nobody is trying to understand or nobody is trying to technical talk about it. Then we are recommending it. It is correct or not?
Yeah, that is the reason I have decided to offer the presentation on today's occasion to highlight the difficulties.
Okay,
so
thank
as I have already recommended, we need to discuss ourselves first what is needed. Is it really necessary? This is the most important point.
Okay. I got it, sir. I have a similar question like you. I am facing same issue in overall India.
Yeah, this is very common issue with almost all the clients in India. So they are all struggling somewhere in between. Partially they are changing the rectifier to manual. Partially they are trying to upgrade the system to manual to auto, something like this. But this is high time really. We need to sit together and revise the specification in more realistic way.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I think we have one last question from Mr. Sivraman. Sivraman, sir, could you please unmute and ask your question?
Good afternoon, sir. My question is on the selection of transformer, type of transformer, whether it is good or better one as if it is oil-cooled transformer or air-cooled transformer, and the maintenance as well as reliable operation point of view.
The decision of going ahead whether it should be oil-cooled or air-cooled depends on all where do you want to install rectifier. If the area where we plan to install rectifier is more cleaner, less dust borne, then we may probably consider air-cooled. Otherwise, oil-cooled rectifier is the best bet, suitable for any location, any environment. You may have seen one of the slide which I have shown you, which a Singapore slide. That rectifier is still working. I think it's more than 40 years by now. It is oil-cooled manual rectifier installed at the seashore at the jetty. So oil-cooled rectifier is very universal. You can install wherever you like, but if the budget is really a very challenging constraint, then we may probably consider using air-cooled. But in this case, the fabrication has to be really well done.
Fine, sir. It's maintenance point of view, sir. Which one is better?
From the maintenance point of view, whether it is air-cooled or oil-cooled does not make any sense, any difference. it can be easily maintained. Most of the wiring is actually in the air-cooled cabinet, control cabinet, which is already air-cooled.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, participants. If anybody else has a question, can quickly raise a hand or just send in a queue on the chat box. However, I do not see any further questions. And if I have missed anyone,
I
please let
have
me
one
know.
question, madam.
Yes, could you please tell me your name? I cannot see. Yes.
Veera. My name is
All
Veera.
right. Yes, Mr. Veera, tell me.
First of all, thanks for the presentation. My question is, in some cases, when we are taking bonding cable from the existing piping, from the existing pipeline, which is in operation with the CP system, if we are going to take bonding cable by using pin bracing, should we need to turn off the TR of existing pipeline, or it can be in on situation itself? Whether the pin bracing will affect the
No, it
TR?
won't. It won't. Pin bracing is not going to affect your operations on the rectifier.
The electronic system in the TR. The
TR
electronic components of rectifier.
No, TR need not be switch off, and pin bracing is only a matter of 2 seconds.
Yes, yes. So it won't affect.
It won't affect.
Okay. Thank you.
So great. I think we have had a wonderful participation over here. Anybody else has any other question can quickly come on. Should we wait for another 30 seconds, or shall we go ahead with the vote of thanks, sir? Hussain, sir, do you have a couple of things to speak? All right, Mr. Jayesh Chauhan, quickly unmute yourself and ask a question, sir. Mr. Jayesh Chauhan? So Mr. Chauhan had a question on the chat box. He said, do we need to turn off the TR unit in case of welding for hookup?
Sorry, are you asking me question?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jayesh Chauhan, I don't think he's able to unmute himself. His question is on the chat box. He says, do we need to turn off the TR unit in case of welding for the hookup?
No, if it is a short duration of the welding, it is not going to make any effect on the rectifier of the CP system. Suppose if there is a very long construction schedule, then I recommend to switch off the rectifier to protect the coatings.
I believe, Mr. Chauhan, your question has been answered. If there's anyone else, another 30 seconds, please, and you can always ask your question. Shabir, sir, please. Yes, yes. Who is this? My name is Pankaj. All right. Mr. Pankaj, kindly ask your question. Yes, thank you.
Sabir bhai, we have purchased so many rectifier from one of the reputed company and it failed. During the commissioning, how we can avoid that one?
See, rectifier failed is a very brief thing. We need to find out what exactly has gone bad before we continue investigating on the failure. Like the rectifier might be under-designed, not able to satisfy the CP current requirement, or maybe it was poor design. It all depends. We need to first inspect the cause of failure.
Yeah, so most of these under-designed, actually, how we can avoid during procurement that under-designed components and all the stuff, because it is almost 150 plus. So how we can avoid that? Can you suggest from your experience how we can avoid in future this mistake is happened?
So the data sheet has to be, the data sheet has to be properly elaborated. Example, if the transformer is designed for 200 kVA or 20 kVA, it needs to be verified by providing exact load in the factory. If it is working without overheating, then it is okay. If it is overheating, then there is a problem. Any under-designed unit will overheat the moment we give the full load.
Has your question been answered?
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Mr. Jayesh Chauhan had a continuation to his question on do we need to turn off the TRU in case of welding for hookup? He says, how much is considered as a short duration?
1 day job, normally 1 day or 2 day, like branching out the pipeline takes not more than 1 day for the welding. So for that purpose, rectifier can be switched on. A CP system can be switched on. Suppose we have long welding, which could take weeks or probably months, then it is recommended to shut down the system. Otherwise, the CP system will malfunction. Rectifier is not going to be bad at that time. Rectifier will still give the required service, but the CP system will have the problem.
I believe Mr. Chauhan's question has been answered. So with that, thank you very much. Thank you has come in. So Shabir sir, thank you so much for answering so many of queries, and I really appreciate the participation from all the audiences over here. So that's really great. And with that, I shall request our executive committee team member, Dr. Arunima Shukla, to kindly extend the vote of thanks. Dr. Shukla, please.
Thank you, Amarjeet. Okay, so good evening, everyone, to all the participants, to the entire NACE North Zone team, and especially respected cathodic protection specialist, Mr. Shabir Hussain, who is the eminent speaker of the NACE North Zone technical talks today. It is my privilege and a huge honor to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this expert level technical talks. I deliver my sincere gratitude to a respectable North Zone President, Sir, Lieutenant Colonel Atul K. Joshi, to present me this opportunity. I'm Dr. Arunima Shukla. I'm an executive committee member of the NACE North Zone Committee. And I extend a very heartfelt vote of thanks to, first of all, to our expert speaker and CP specialist, Mr. Shabir Hussain ji. With an impressive international experience of over 35 years in cathodic protection, as it has already been explained by Amarjeet, Mr. Hussain has the privilege of working in the entire Gulf and other countries such as Singapore. He already explained this 40 years case of rectifiers, Indonesia and Vietnam. He has contributed to the development of NACE CP levels courses in Houston. Sir, thank you very much for taking out time to share the knowledge and words of wisdom with us. We wish you all the very best and thanks again for your immense contribution in the field of corrosion. Next is I cannot miss to acknowledge and say thank you to my NACE India North Zone for organizing such informative technical talks, which are meant for corrosion professionals at many levels, and also for student and industrials. I'm proud to say that NACE North Zone is determined to make a difference right from academia to corporates, to contribute for the betterment of society and for promoting corrosion awareness at all levels, even to the children in schools who will be professionals in the future. I must express a deep sense of gratitude to NIJI's chairman, sir, Shri KB Singh ji, NIJI's North Zone President, sir, Lieutenant Colonel Atul Kumar Joshi, for their inspiring visionary approach and continuously emphasizing on regular technical talks. That's how this knowledge is flowing. Last but not the least, on the behalf of NACE India North Zone, I may like to express our sincere thanks to all the participants who have taken out their valuable time and participated with a sense of learning for service in the field of corrosion. There were a lot of questions, and out of those questions, we also have learned a lot. So we will see you all in our next technical talk in September. Our North Zone Manager, Ms. Amarjeet Bains, will talk about the same. So thank you very much once again. Wishing you all a very happy weekend and a very happy Janmashtami. Jai Shri Krishna. Over to Amarjeet.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shukla. Indeed, so correctly said. In fact, Shabir sir is definitely an inspiration, and it is his patience. I would love to add in that it's his patience, and definitely he was so much looking forward to the talk that he actually hired a complete audiovisual team to take care of the entire setup, and he wanted to join in people from all around the world so that they can have a good experience, even though we are on a virtual platform. So thank you so much, and Shabir sir. Basically, Dr. Shukla is one of our youngest contributing team members of the NACE North Zone Committee, and we are very proud to have you here once again. Dr. Shabir sir, if you have any words to speak, you can always say the same.
Sorry. Yeah, so
Yes.
in closing, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to NACE India North and East Zone, giving me opportunity to present this paper and share my experience gained over last 35 years. And Mr. Sandeep Mittal is like my brother, my friend, you name it, for his enormous help in developing this presentation, without which I could not have achieved timely completion of this paper. And I also wish to sincerely thanks to all my well-wishers and friends. I could not list out because it's a very, very long list. And the two personalities which really helps me develop my career, understand the life science, the one late Colonel AFMA Muksit, who was the chairman of Golconda Karhoyon Private Limited, and late Shri I.S. Mittal, chairman Cortec International. And my thrust ever remains, I wish I spend more quality time with these unforgettable personalities. Thank you for your attendance and time.
Thank you so much once again, sir. And I request all the participants to kindly switch on your video. Whosoever is ready, I shall be taking the group pic. Shabir sir, I would request you to be on full screen mode, please. You can remove the presentation and you can align your cameras as well. Thank you so much for being with us for almost an hour and a half. And I shall be just giving you a couple of seconds to switch on the video, and we can take the picture. So I hope everyone's ready. I can see everyone. Great. Mr. Shah, Ms. Sabiha, Arun, Darshan Patel, everybody can switch on the video. Mr. Veera can switch on the video if possible. Mr. Sivraman, thank you. Thank you. Just hold on. I request everyone to kindly just smile. I know it is a little awkward on the virtual platform. Just smile, please. And just hold on. That's one of my screenshots. Just a minute. Let me take the other screenshots as well. If I have anybody else. The remaining people, Mr. Chauhan, anybody, Kesavan, Siddiqui, anybody else would like to switch on the videos? Just give me one more snap, please, everyone. That's lovely. Thank you. Smile. Lovely. Okay, all of these pictures will be available on LinkedIn. Please, you can either send me a request. My name is Amarjeet Bains. That's how I'm named on LinkedIn as well. We have our NACE International Gateway India section page as well. You can follow that as well for updates. So thank you once again, all of you, and wishing everyone a very happy Janmashtami and a very happy weekend. And if anybody wants to speak to Shabir sir, can definitely unmute and speak as well. Rest of the people can leave as per your convenience. But it has been a pleasure to have all of you, and you have spent in a lot of valuable time with us. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Hussain sir, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, because somehow I was at site, so came late. I joined late. Sorry for that, but for the spell of time which I could see the presentation, it was fantastic, and I'm sure our colleagues who joined this webinar, they must be quite enlightened with the knowledge you have imparted to them. So thank you very much, and we hope in times to come you are going to support NACE North Zone chapter. And well done, Amarjeet. fantastic arrangements. Everything went well.
Thank you
Arunima,
very much,
thank
sir.
you so much. And once again, Hussain Saab, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I look forward taking more opportunities in my future presentations.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Without
much,
question.
Welcome.
Joshi sir. Jai Hind sir. And just to add on, there was Mr. Hussain sir had taken a lot of pain to get this technical presentation done. So absolutely appreciable to the efforts he put in. I wanted to put it across to you as well, sir. Excellent efforts from Shabir sir. He has got his entire AV team who has joined in, and sir is in his conference room. So he ensured that everything should go well and his participants actually enjoy the presentation. So absolutely appreciable on Shabir sir's side. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Joshi sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank you very
Hussain
much.
Saab, once again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Anybody else has anything to speak? Otherwise, you can leave the meeting and go ahead with your own stuff that you need to attend. In the meantime, anybody following us on Instagram and Facebook, we have our pages there as well on NACE International Gateway India section. You can join us there as well. I had a couple of questions on the education front. People were asking me about the Catholic level 3 courses that are being conducted. Yes, they will be conducted in a short duration of time, but the frame has yet to be decided because of the pandemic. There are little changes. So the virtual one is being conducted by NACE International USA. However, for the practical ones, you will have to wait a little longer for the CP3 to come in India. But anyway, we look forward to further participation from all of you. Please don't forget to attend the next technical talk, which will be in September, and that is going to be on an interesting topic on black powder. So
Amarjit,
I
just a
look forward
second.
to
Amarjit, just
Yes,
a second.
sir.
I just wanted to speak to Hussain Saab for one more reason.
Sure, sir.
Hussain Saab, am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Actually, our North Zone team has developed certain short films of 8 to 10 minutes on corrosion for school kids.
Okay.
So those films we want to introduce to the school level through respective state ministries, education ministries. One of the ministry I'm taking up is the UP government. So similarly, if you have any contacts in your Telangana, so
I will definitely explore, and I would like to add here is academics is very much is my personal interest. Look for the opportunity, bringing in the more practical, technical approach to the education rather than just finish the books and come up with the total new person who knows nothing on the field experience. In fact, I have discussed with a couple of vice chancellors in Hyderabad. I could not get a real encouraging response from them. The only question which I could not answer is that they challenged me how many engineers you can employ when we adopt your course. Of course, I can't challenge on that. I can't guarantee, but corrosion awareness is in my opinion, it's a fundamental right. It should be implemented. It should be implemented from the primary school itself.
Yeah, your concern is absolutely right. But what our executives they had a thinking in their mind, let's make our kids aware about this problem, because if starting from their school education, if they are aware that this is a menace for any industry, so that inherent development of their mind will start looking at it in a different perspective. So that is the reason for schools we have developed certain cartoon films so that it can be imparted and they should know how things are getting bad because of this. So Amarjit, Dr. Arunima, Dr. Rawat, they and a few engineers from different PSUs, they put a lot of efforts to create them. So just have some interaction with your state ministries. If they can, we will give those videos to them so that they can play them in the different schools and at elementary level.
I will definitely try my best to talk to ministry level here in Telangana.
So,
And,
Dr. Arunima, you please be in touch with Hussain Saab.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, so that we should try to extend it to the maximum length.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Hussain, sir.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch with you.
Hussain Saab, thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And bye-bye, sir. I will keep in touch with you. We'll keep you updated on the same. You can also check our YouTube channel, if possible, to check out the corrosion vodcast that Atul sir was talking about. So thank you so much once again. And with that, with Atul sir, with your permission, if you say so, I shall end the meeting for all.
Please, please, please.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend and happy Janmashtami once again to everyone.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Bye.
great weekend.